Kurtis Dilks of Clifton was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the terrifying raid on the home of former England left-back Ashley Cole and his partner. Lifestyle criminal Dilks wore a face mask in the dock at Nottingham Crown Court as he was told how long he would be imprisoned. Dilks, of Whitegate Vale, was found guilty of robbing Cole and his partner Sharon Canu, as well as conspiring with co-defendants Ashley Cumberpatch, 36, formerly of First Avenue, Carlton, and Andrew MacDonald, 42, of Berridge Road West, the Arboretum. To rob the home of former Tottenham and Derby midfielder Tom Huddlestone. Dilks received a 30-year sentence with a 5 extended period on license for the heinous crime at Cole's home. "The attack on my home, my family and me, and the situation it created," Cole said in a victim impact statement. "Being in that situation with a gang of men in my house and seeing terror and confusion on the faces of my young children will never leave me," said the ex-Arsenal, Chelsea, and Derby defender, who was not present in court on Friday, July 15. "Those images and thoughts will never leave my mind and can appear at any time." And he stated that the weapons, threats, and physical damage to the house are still present. He used to think he had thick skin, but now he is more nervous about things that happen around him. "Watching a movie and seeing a person in a mask is no longer just a movie," he says, "it's a reminder, a trigger." The images from that night are still with him and have an impact on everything. Dilks, a convicted burglar, was told by Judge James Sampson that he and his team smashed their way into Cole and his partner's home, tied them up, and threatened to cut off Cole's finger with pliers. "You made him believe he was going to die," the judge added. "You chose him because of his apparent wealth." Dilks also conspired with co-defendants Cumberpatch and MacDonald to rob the home of former Tottenham and Derby midfielder Tom Huddlestone when Huddlestone's wife was locked up at home alone. Dilks was found guilty of 13 charges, including his participation in a jewellery heist plot to steal a £3.5 million tiara from the Harley Gallery on the Welbeck estate. On July 8, gang members were found guilty after a 13-week trial at Nottingham Crown Court. Cumberpatch, MacDonald, and Dilks were all convicted of conspiracy to rob the Harley Gallery, which they all denied. The theft of the historic Portland tiara and diamond brooch from an armored glass display was a meticulously planned military-style heist. The judge described the £3.75 million haul as a heinous act on the country's heritage and called it culturally priceless. The main charge for Cumberpatch and MacDonald, along with Dilks, was a plot to rob a couple's home in Burton Avenue, Carlton. They came in disguised and armed with knives and other weapons. MacDonald severed a portion of the terrified householder's ear and threatened to sever his thumb. He was beaten and threatened with death before being thrown in a car and driven to his mother's house, where her jewelry and Rolex watch were stolen. Cumberpatch received a total sentence of 24 years in prison and 5 years on extended license, whereas MacDonald received a total sentence of 32 years, including 27 years in prison and 5 years on extended license. Cumberpatch, MacDonald, and co-defendants Christopher York, 49, of Rose Ash Lane, Arnold, Tevfik Gukik, 39, of Houndsdon Road, Southgate, London, and Serkan Efson, 25, of Meadow Close, Barnet, were all found guilty of converting criminal property in connection with the stolen items. More than £4 million in stolen property passed through a Hatton Garden Jewellers, and only a portion of it has been recovered. York, a lorry driver hired to transport MacDonald, was sentenced to 12 months in prison, suspended for 21 months, with 21 hours of unpaid work. Gukik and Efson, both jewelers with no previous convictions, were sentenced to 7 and 5 years in prison, respectively.